I don't really post on here, so I'm sorry if this is all over the place. I just don't really have anyone to talk to about this without it turning into a whole thing in real life. I guess I just need to get it out somewhere. For context, my dad got remarried a couple years ago. My stepmom, Ellen, has 2 daughters, both a little younger than me. We all live together, and it's fine, I guess. Like nothing is ever bad enough to complain about, but it's also never felt like I'm actually part of it. I kind of just exist in the same house as them. They have their own jokes, their own routines, their own way of doing things. I'm just sort of there. Anyway, a few nights ago, we were all at the dinner table. Just a normal night. Nothing special. Plates clinking, TV on in the other room, that kind of thing. Then Ellen suddenly got really excited out of nowhere, like she'd been waiting all day to say something. She goes, "Okay, I have a surprise." And she's smiling in that way where you know it's something big. Then she tells us she got tickets to see Billie Eilish. October 17th, in Raleigh, at the Lenovo Center. Both of my stepsisters immediately start screaming. Like actually screaming. They're hugging her, jumping up from the table, already talking about what they're going to wear. It got loud really fast. And I'm just sitting there trying to act normal, but inside I'm freaking out too. I love Billie. Like, her music has gotten me through some really bad nights, and I've never been to a concert like that before. I kept thinking, there's no way I'm actually going to get to go, right? But nobody said I wasn't. So I just kind of sat there, smiling, trying not to look too excited, but definitely assuming I was included. I mean, why wouldn't I be? The rest of the night, they kept talking about it nonstop. Outfits, seats, taking pictures, everything. I didn't say much, but I was listening to all of it, kind of building it up in my head. I even started thinking about what I'd wear, even though I didn't say it out loud. Then the next day, it just kind of slipped out. Ellen was talking about the tickets again, and I asked something like, "Do we know where our seats are yet?" And she paused for a second, like she hadn't even considered the question. Then she goes, really casually, "Oh, there were only enough tickets for us. They sold out really fast." That was it. No real apology. No, "We'll try to find another one." Nothing like that. Just matter of fact. I remember just standing there for a second, not really knowing what to say, like my brain didn't catch up right away. I think I just said, "Oh, okay," and tried to act like it didn't matter. But later, I could hear them in the other room, laughing and planning everything, and it just hit me all at once. And I don't even think it was really about the concert. It's just, it never is. The night of the concert finally came, and the house felt wrong. They were all getting ready earlier that afternoon, music blasting, doors opening and closing, laughing, yelling across the hallway. I stayed in my room for most of it, pretending to be busy. At one point, one of my stepsisters knocked just to show me her outfit, like a quick spin in the doorway, and I told her it looked good. She said thanks and ran off before I could say anything else. No one asked if I was okay. No one really noticed. By the time they left, the house went completely silent, like too quiet. I stood in the kitchen for a minute after I heard the car pull away, just staring at nothing. I kept thinking about where they were headed, picturing the line outside the arena, the lights, the energy. And then I looked down at the sink full of dishes. Ellen had asked me earlier to just take care of a few things while we're gone. It wasn't even said in a mean way. That almost made it worse. So that's what I did. I washed dishes, started laundry, wiped down counters. I had my phone on the whole time, but no one texted me. Not even a picture. Not even a, "You should have been here." At some point, I ended up in Ellen's office because I needed to print something for school. Her laptop was already open on the desk. I hesitated for a second before touching it. I know she doesn't like anyone using her stuff, but I figured it would be fine if I was quick. When I moved the mouse, an email notification popped up in the corner of the screen. I wasn't trying to snoop. I really wasn't. But it was already there, and the preview? It didn't look like anything work-related. It was from someone named Tim. I just kind of stared at it for a second, telling myself to ignore it, but something felt off. I don't know how to explain it, just a gut feeling. So I clicked it, and I wish I could say it was just one message, something I could brush off or misunderstand. But it wasn't. It was a whole thread. Weeks and weeks of messages. Flirty, personal, things you don't send to someone unless you're not supposed to be sending them. He said he missed her. She said she wished she was still out there, with him. That's when I saw it. One of her work trips from earlier this year, the one where she said she had meetings at the coast, wasn't real. They were talking about a beach resort, about how perfect it had been, about how they wished they could go back. There were dates in the emails. It went back at least 9 months. My hands were shaking at that point. I felt sick, like I shouldn't be seeing any of it, but also like I couldn't stop. It was like everything I'd been feeling about her, about the way she treated me, the way things never quite added up, suddenly had something behind it. I closed the laptop and just sat there for a while. I didn't know what to do. So I went back to my room and started writing my dad a message. At first, it was just about the concert, about how it felt to be left behind again, like I didn't matter. I tried to keep it calm, not dramatic, just honest. But the more I wrote, the more everything else started coming out too. And I kept staring at the part where I could tell him what I found. Not sure if I should hit send. I ended up sending it. Not all at once. I rewrote it like 5 times, deleting parts, adding things back in, trying to make it sound less explosive. In the end, I told him how the concert thing made me feel, how it wasn't just about that. And then I added one line about finding something on Ellen's laptop that didn't feel right. I didn't go into detail. I just said I thought he should come home and talk to me. He got back late. I heard the door open, then close a little too quietly, like he didn't want to wake anyone, even though no one else was there. A few minutes later, he knocked on my door. He looked tired. Not just physically, like something had been weighing on him for a long time, and he hadn't said it out loud yet. We sat on the edge of my bed, and he asked me what was going on. I started with the concert. I told him everything, how it happened, how it felt, how it wasn't the first time I'd been left out like that. I thought he might brush it off or try to defend her, but he didn't. He just listened. Then he sighed and said something I wasn't expecting. He told me things hadn't been good for a while, that he'd been trying to make it work, trying to keep everything together, but it never really felt right. He said he thought maybe it was just him, or that things would settle eventually. That's when I hesitated. And then I showed him. I pulled up the email on my phone. I had taken pictures of it because I didn't trust myself to remember everything, and handed it to him. I couldn't even look at his face while he read it. At first, he didn't say anything, just stared at the screen. His shoulders dropped a little, like something inside him just gave out. Then, slowly, he straightened up. It wasn't loud or dramatic. He didn't yell. He just changed. His expression got calm, almost cold, but focused in a way I'd never seen before. He handed my phone back and said, "Pack your things." For a second, I thought I'd messed everything up, like I'd crossed a line I wasn't supposed to cross, and now I was the problem. I just sat there, frozen. Then he looked at me and said, softer this time, "We're leaving." Everything after that felt fast, not chaotic, just decided. Like once he made up his mind, there was no hesitation. We packed what we needed that night. Clothes, important stuff, a few personal things. By morning, we were gone. No note, no explanation, just gone. I guess she tried calling. I saw a few missed calls come through before he blocked her number. She texted me too, but I didn't answer. I didn't even open them. About a week later, he told me the papers had been served. After that, everything moved pretty quickly. Lawyers, selling the house, splitting things. He handled all of it. Now it's just us. And it's better. It really is. It feels quieter in a good way this time. Like I can actually breathe. We talk more. We laugh more. It feels like I got my dad back. But I still feel weird about it. Like on one hand, I know I didn't create any of what happened. That was already there. But on the other hand, I was the one who showed him. I was the one who made it real. And now I'm turning 18 soon. I'll be leaving at some point. College, work, whatever. And I keep thinking about him being alone again. He says he's fine. That he's actually happier now. I think he means it. I just hope eventually he finds someone who really treats him the way he deserves. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking all of this. If you've read this far, do you think I did the right thing? From the outside looking in, it's easy to see something she couldn't fully see in the moment. She didn't break a family. She revealed the truth about one that was already fractured. The pain she felt that night, sitting alone while everyone else went to the concert, wasn't just about being left behind. It was years of quiet exclusion finally coming into focus. And when she found those emails, she was put in an impossible position no kid should ever have to face. But she didn't act out of anger or revenge. She acted out of honesty. She trusted her dad enough to tell him the truth, even when she was scared of what it might do. And her dad, he deserves a lot of respect here. He didn't explode. He didn't ignore it. He took it in, processed it, and made a clear, decisive choice to protect both himself and his daughter. That kind of calm strength, the ability to face something painful and still do what's right, isn't easy. It says a lot about the kind of man he is and the kind of father he chose to be in that moment. Walking away wasn't weakness. It was clarity. If she ever watches this, I hope she understands this. You didn't do anything wrong. You told the truth, and sometimes the truth changes everything, but that doesn't make it your fault. It just means you were brave enough to face it. But I'm curious what you all think. Did she handle this the right way? Would you have done anything differently? Let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to hear your perspective on this one.